Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the history of clay and from the time that it started to where we are now. So, clay started around 400 BC, or it was discovered around 400 BC, and it is considered the oldest of all crafted things, so kind of cool. And so it was believed that clay was discovered when people of that time were transporting their water. So, what they would do is they would have a weaved basket, and within the basket, they would have clay that would line it to prevent the water from slipping out. And once they poured out the water, they noticed that the clay dried. And then from there, they noticed that, it's maintaining its shape and it's dry. So they were kind of surprised by that. So what they did is they decided to fire it, because what they would do is they would put their food into these baskets. So they kind of became like the main pots and pans of their time, I guess you could say. So the Egyptians were the ones that made the kilns, and what a kiln is it's like an oven for clay. They fired about 1800 degrees. There's many different kinds, and back in that day, kilns were obviously a lot different because 1800 degrees is pretty warm. So their kilns they took a lot longer. But a kiln fires clay, and once clay is fired, it actually is around forever, which is kind of a cool fact that I would not have known unless I took an art class, actually. So from there, they came up with a very basic thing we call glaze. And glaze is just a bunch of minerals. There's glass in there, which gives it like the glass-like look. And what glaze does is it prevents water from getting through. So the pores aren't there any longer. So that was kind of what the Egyptians did. And then ancient Greece came along, and they created huge vases. And the vases were decorations for them, and they were pictures that kind of displayed their daily lives. They worship gods with them, etc. And then came the medieval times, and what they did is they used clay to like cook food. So for casseroles, for instance, they had a pan that they made out of clay. So that's kind of the history of clay. So getting to where we are now, clay is something that people can use to create like dinnerware. So for example, a plate, very simple, and there's a glaze on here. You can't eat off of this one because where it's green, those are indents, so that just would not be safe. So people make dinnerware, they make sculptures. So you can't really see it. I'm doing the best I can here with what I have, but that's a sculpture of a torso. It's actually an angel, and this is just a clay vessel. So there's a lot of different techniques. These ones here are not glazed, but the plate was. So there's many different things that you can do with glaze. And so yeah, you fire them in a kiln, you make them look pretty, and you can display them, you can eat off of them, and go from there. So clay has definitely come a long ways. It can be a therapy, like any art can. It can just be something fun to do. You can take a class on it, and I think it's a great thing to do. So if you ever get a chance to do clay, you should definitely take advantage of that and try something new. See what you can do. Be creative.